Tired of dealing with annoying flies, fruit flies, and gnats in your home? The Zevo Flying Insect Trap is your ultimate solution. Don't wait. Check out the link in the video description now to get your Zevo Flying Insect Trap on Amazon and enjoy a bug-free home today.
The Antiques Roadshow crowd was left gasping in shock as an expert revealed the staggering value of woman's ring on this week's episode. This week, the much-loved-up BBC show headed to Rest Park in Bedfordshire, where one segment featured a woman who brought in two of her late mother's rings. One of the rings had been rescued from a petrol station sink back in the day, which made the story even more incredible. Expert John Benjamin began by asking her, twinkling nicely in the slightly overcast day at the moment at least, "You brought along two rings, one with blue stones, one with a white stone. Family rings?" The guest replied, "Yes, my mother's." "Well, sadly my mother passed away a couple of months ago. I knew she had the rings, but she hadn't worn them for quite a while. My father bought the white one quite a few years ago for her, many years ago. The other one, I'm not too sure where the other one came from." The guest went on to share the petrol station story, explaining, "She did mention once that the bigger one, she went down to her friend's. She was on her way to Brighton and she stopped in a service station and went to the lady's room and it fell off her finger and down the drain. Luckily, it was very early in the morning. She went out and someone came along and opened the trap and luckily it fell out." Talking about the bigger ring, Benjamin said, "I've looked at it with my lens and it's actually got one or two little flaws internally. It's got a little tint of color. The best diamonds you can buy are colorless, known as D color. The color of this diamond is probably around about J color, so you see it's a few grades down the scale. But the overall impression that it makes, for a ring that was lost down the sink, it's pretty good." Benjamin then confirmed that it was actually a 4.3 carat large brilliant cut diamond from the 1950s and said it was worth a whopping £20,000. When they heard the amount, the audience all gasped as the guest pulled a completely bewildered face. She then laughed and said, "Wow. Okay. That's very nice. I'm pleased she got it out of the sink." It comes after earlier this week another Antiques Roadshow guest was left so stunned that she struggled to catch her breath after learning the mind-boggling value of her dunce grandmother's gold Olympic medal. Expert valuer Adam Schoon delivered the good news to Julia, who had brought along a collection of swimming medals. The haul of impressive awards included a gold medal from the 1924 Paris Olympics that belonged to her grandmother Lucy Morton. Julia explained Lucy had started swimming when she was 10 and had entered the Olympics in Paris, but no one expected her to do very well. Bringing along a photo, she said, "That's my grandmother Lucy Morton, swimming. She started swimming when she was about age 10. What happened was her dad said, 'You're too much of a dunce at school. You don't seem to be doing very well,' and he decided, 'Let's try swimming.'" The BBC resident expert was intrigued by the haul and noticed that there were several medals from smaller races. He said, "Back to her remarkable rise, because it's covered in gold medals. I noticed that there's a number of medallions around here which she would have won for, I presume, county races, national races. She's setting world records. All of these are 15 karat gold, but of course, all these smaller medals build up to really this one here." Adam then pointed to the largest medal, an Olympic gold, and Julia was more than happy to explain its backstory. She said, in 1923, they actually became very interested in her and they asked her to start swimming in preparation for the 1924 Paris Olympics. She trained and she went to Paris in 1924. She wasn't expected to win or anything. Unfortunately, some of the Americans had got some sort of bug from what I heard. She made the final race in breaststroke 200 and everyone was apparently cheering. She got to the end and she had a chaperone and the chaperone said, "You've won." Pulled her out of the pool, put her bathrobe on. She was actually the first female swimmer to win a gold medal in swimming for Great Britain. I'm really proud of her. At that age, that time, females weren't doing anything like that, and to have actually swam at the age of 27, I think it was quite old back then. The valuer was very impressed and told the guest,